Do you have joy in your life? Do you live a life of joy? I've spent a lot of time talking about what joy is, the difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is certainly influenced by the external. Joy is something that comes from the internal. This is why joy and peace are so often connected. Do you experience joy in your life? If not, why not? And what does the Bible have to say about it? We're going to look at that in just a second. My name is Jeremy Stalnecker, and this is the Mighty Oaks Daily Devotional. This is such an important topic for us to consider. There are so many folks, you may be one of them, going through life, doing the things that they are supposed to do, accomplishing the stuff on their to-do list. But on the inside, if you were to really survey them and they were to be honest with you, they would say that they are simply going through the motions and that there is no joy in their lives. In fact, they may say not only is there no joy, but there is despair and hopelessness. There is dread about what may happen later on today or tomorrow when they get up. There is a lack of joy. Now, I said this is about other people, but it might also be about you. Maybe you're the one that if we're asked that question honestly, you'd have to answer honestly, I don't have joy in my life. Happiness is something that comes to us emotionally. A good thing happens at work or with our kids, or we get something that we've been wanting, and so we experience the emotion of happiness. It's wonderful to be happy, but we all know that happiness is fleeting. Joy, on the other hand, is something that comes from the inside. Joy is not determined by our circumstance or situation. Joy can be found even in the most difficult of situations. So if you don't have joy in your life, the question is, why not? I would draw your attention today to the New Testament book of Romans chapter 15. Romans is a wonderful book of the Bible, of course, and the book of Romans has much to say about hope and joy and peace, these concepts that we like to get a hold of if we can. Verse number 13 of Romans 15 says this, "Now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that you may abound in hope through the power of the Holy Ghost." Man, what a great verse. The apostle is writing this book, this letter to the church in Rome, and he's writing to Christian people. And he says, here's what I want for you. I want you to abound in hope through the power of the Holy Ghost. It's a hope that produces, he says, joy and peace. What we understand is that if joy is inside out, it comes from the inside, regardless of our circumstance. If peace, too, is not necessarily tied to our circumstance or our situation, it's something that we can experience in the midst of the storm. That peace, the Bible calls, that passes understanding. Well, they must come from somewhere. Where do they come from? They come from the hope, which we've talked about, a confidence in God. Now, Paul acknowledges that not every Christian walks in joy. Not every Christian experiences peace. Not every Christian has their arms around hope. But he says, hey, that's what I want for you, and that's what you can have. If instead of focusing on the external and focusing on what is not going well in your life, you focus on God and who He is and what He's done. This is why giving thanks is so important. This is why rejoicing in who God is so important. This is why spending time daily in His Word, hearing from Him and understanding what He's done, that grace that we've talked about, that's why those things are so important. Because they allow us to experience a peace that passes understanding. Why? Because we know the God who's in charge. A joy that is not connected to our circumstance. Why? Because our joy, who we are on the inside and from the inside out, is not connected to what's going on in our world. It's found in our identity, as we've talked about, with Jesus Christ. Are you a person of joy? If the answer is no, then I would ask, why not? This is a verse that today I would ask you to spend some time thinking about, pondering, meditating on, and asking God to give you the joy and the peace that comes from a hope, a confidence, a faith, and an assurance in Him. Live a life of joy. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow for another Mighty Oaks Daily Devotional. For more information about the Mighty Oaks Foundation and the work that we do for veterans, active duty service members, and first responders, please visit mightyoaksprograms.org.